Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is a quick video about the top 5 openings that I recommend to players that are from 200 to 800 rated on chess.com. So this is me. I'm a 2000 plus rated player. I've been playing chess for quite a few years now. But let me get straight into the top openings I recommend. So starting off with number 1. I think one of the best openings you can learn as a beginner is called the Italian game, which starts off with e4. And the reason why I love this opening so much is because you're just practicing basic principles and getting it embedded in your mind. So, for example, we've got the knight coming out, and then after this we've got the bishop coming out. Both to very active squares and controlling the center. If you're new to chess, you'll know that controlling the center is a very important concept in the game. Typically, the person who can control the center can control a lot of the attacking opportunities later on in the game. So that's why I love this game. There's this opening. It starts off with knight out and bishop out. And there's different variations you can do from here. Typically, your opponent will bring their bishop out as well. There's variations where you can go here and here. Oh, sorry, not the queen, but the pawn. And I like this. This is the main line for the Italian. But what I'm going to suggest, just to keep it very simple for 200 to 800 rated players, because simplicity is key, is just to get the knight out. Okay. So this is also called the Gioco Piano game, or Italian game, you can call it either or. But this is one of the best openings I recommend. And then, of course, soon after this, you're going to be looking to castle as well. So you've got the king safety, you're controlling the center, and you've got your minor pieces out as well. Soon we're going to want to move this bishop out and get to an active square as well. So that's the first opening I recommend. Now the second opening I recommend for a 200 to 800 rated player, playing with the white pieces, similar e4 opening. e4 is always great because it allows quick development of the bishops, the queen, and so on. This is going to be the scholar's mate attack, okay? So that's where we get a bishop out first. They bring their knight out, let's say, and straight away we are threatening checkmate, okay? Now, this isn't the most technically sound opening. I wouldn't recommend this for people that are, let's say, 1200 and onwards, because people are going to shut you down quite easily and you're going to have a disadvantage with tempo. You're going to piece and get kicked around. I definitely recommend this for beginners, because oftentimes, not only will you checkmate them in 4 moves, but a lot of people don't know how to defend against the follow-up attacks. So let's say, for example, our opponent goes here. That is simply checkmate, okay? And you'll be surprised how many people fall into that trap at your rating level of 200 to 800 rated. It happens all the time. So it can be quite tricky to defend. What black needs to do now is they need to get this pawn out here, in which case we drop the queen back. Still threatening checkmate, of course, because if they do any other move like this, that is checkmate again. So now what's forced is he has to get the knight out. And we've got constant attacks. I mean, I probably wouldn't do this because of this, but you get the point. There are a lot of attacks with this opening, and just this primary attack here is something you get quite often at this rating level. So I do recommend that opening for beginners. So just to reiterate, it's simply bishop out and queen out. One last thing I will say about this opening before I move on is that sometimes when your opponent is not very well experienced, let's say he defends this way, you can even win a rook here as well, which is a nice touch to have. in your first few moves of the game. Okay, moving on to the third opening I recommend. That would be the Scotch game. So again, it's an e4 opening. He's going to copy us and do e5. Our knight comes out, his knight comes out. Similar to the Italian game at first, but now what makes it different is we're going to push d4. Okay, so again, we're contesting control for the center. We are threatening to take this pawn. Okay, of course, if they do not defend this pawn, then that's a free pawn for us. Okay, because he cannot take it back. You know, so that is partly why I recommend this. From the 200 to 800 rated range, a lot of people are going to blunder this pawn, and it'll go up in material early in the game, which is nice. And also, it can be very dangerous if your opponent doesn't know what to do. So, for example, one of the most natural moves to do in the Scotch game is for someone to take, we take, they take, and we take back. And now this looks all well and good. We've got equal material. But I tell you what, this is actually a mistake for them to take here, because now the game is kind of harder on them for them to find a way to develop their pieces. For example, if they want to bring their knight out, we can just push with e5. Notice how that's a mistake on chess.com's analysis, because now we can push. They have nowhere to put this knight. So, I mean, if you even had done that, that wouldn't be good. So, the analysis says the best move for them to do now is simply to move their knight back to g8, which is a wasted move, obviously. So that's why this is such a good opening, because you can get very strong position against someone that doesn't know necessarily how to deal with this opening, which most people aren't at 200 to 800. And even if you're not the most familiar with the theory yourself, it's not a problem at all. You know, it's very easy and natural to play from here. Okay, let's say your opponent makes a move like this. You've got easy and many squares to put your bishop. You know, all your minor pieces come out very easily. It's very natural to get into a better position from this point. You know, it's not too complicated, it's not too tight and cramped. So that's opening number 3 that I recommend. I think you have a lot of fun with that one, actually. And number 4, I thought I'd throw this one in because I know that when you play e4, your opponent's not always going to go e5. Sometimes they might go for the Sicilian defense, okay? So if for whatever reason your opponent does do this, I'm going to recommend you play knight to f3. Sorry, my brain went blank there. And as they go here, we're going to play the open Sicilian defense. So the reason why I recommend this is, again, it keeps things very, very simple. We're trying to control the center. They take, it's not a problem at all. We know exactly what we're doing, and it's just the same idea pretty much. You know, if they try and do this, we can push, or whatever the case is. You know, we've got very simple and easy development. Bishop's coming out, we're going to castle on the next move as well. So the open Sicilian is probably the most simplest response to the Sicilian defense. So I thought I'd throw that in here anyways, just because not everyone is going to respond with e5. And the 5th and final opening I have is the only d4 opening in this video, which is the Queen's Gambit. So the Queen's Gambit, I personally think is the most simplest d4 opening you can learn. It's very simple, but it has a lot of depth. So what is the Queen's Gambit? They're going to go d4. Typically people match you here. And then we're going to go with c4 here. Okay. Now, of course, this is a gambit, meaning that we can sacrifice a pawn early on in exchange for a positional advantage. That's what gambits are. It's a temporary sacrifice for a positional advantage. Now, the Queen's Gambit's not really a gambit, as what people say, because yes, they can take this pawn, however, we can eventually take this back with a move like e4. So this is a central variation for the Queen's Gambit. And for now, this is what I recommend. So, very simple idea, of course. They might get their pawn out here. We're going to have simply develop our knight. No, it's not making play like absolute. It's not making play like a 200 rated player. It's just so I can demonstrate properly. Just get the knights out here. Of course, we're going to take this pawn most importantly when we can. And the idea is we're going to develop our pieces. Now, I'm going to suggest you castle kingside for being a 200 to 800 rated player, because castling queenside you can do, you just got to play a bit differently, and there's some nuances and you need to understand. So that's the opening I recommend for d4 if you want to play that and you are 200 to 800 rated player. So yeah, very solid opening to get acquainted with. Now, I'll be making some more videos as well, so if you enjoyed this, make sure you give a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel. And do comment below if it was helpful, but on top of that, what else you'd like to see as well. So, whether it's an opening from black, maybe a breakdown in depth of an opening that you want to learn, or maybe some gambits, middle game tactics, wherever it is, let me know. I'm going to be covering a lot more in this channel. I have been doing speedrun for 0 to 1000. I think I'm going to take that from 1000 to 2000 as well later on. But yes guys, so that's it from me today. So thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Cheers.